I'm Chris Eastoe from Grace St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Tucson, Arizona, and I'm here today to talk about something I feel very strongly about. In the popular mind, the relationship between Christianity and gay and lesbian people is antagonistic. In consequence, many gay and lesbian people are driven away from churches and robbed of one of the birthrights of their culture, the birthright that is an important part of its wisdom. This wisdom is a spirituality founded on a rich tradition, a spirituality that is both comfort and challenge. I should say here what I mean by spirituality. For me, it's an understanding of my place in the scheme of things, and it includes my understanding of who God is and who I am. The Christianity of popular American culture is just one loud-voiced variety of the Christian tradition, and it is currently fixated on sex as wrongdoing. Christian tradition is in fact more complex, including many different strands. Some of the strands have much that is positive to say to gay and lesbian Christians. These are not new theology, rather they are traditions present in the Bible. Because of the influence of popular culture, we gays and lesbians need to unlearn childhood lessons in order to embrace a more mature Christian spirituality. Let me explain. To begin, we need to get over the need to be right, to have the answers. It's healthier to be in a spiritual space that allows us to live in tension between alternative ideas. None of us, straight or gay, has the wisdom to sort out some of the problems of life. Some people put it like this: it's better to live the questions rather than to live the answers we think we have. An important result is that we stop focusing on who else is wrong. I'm going to present some belief alternatives. The alternatives lie right at the core of Christian belief, because they are about what we think God is like. Let's think about whether God is the God of love or the God of law. The Bible as a whole is ambivalent here, even in the Christian scriptures. The God of law is an unbendable rule maker and a scorekeeper who runs a merit system not unlike the one we all learnt in school. If you go astray, it's on your record forever. We are seen as inadequate, and we do go astray, so this version of God is basically unfriendly to humankind. The God of love, on the other hand, is a friend of humankind who knows that we do go astray, but forgives and wants the best for humankind. The God of love knows we are a diverse lot and rejoices in our diversity. We are basically adequate beings who can achieve much with guidance. Both versions of God are present in the Bible. Which one do you think can be a spiritual friend to gays and lesbians? Another example: is the creation, that is the world, good or bad at heart? The Christian writings have two extended stories that speak to this question in a way that creates a tension of alternatives. It doesn't matter much whether you see the stories as fact or mythology. In one, God finds the world good enough to participate in it as one of us, to be born into the world as a human, and to work with us. In the other, God finds the world so bad that it can only be redeemed through personal intervention, ending with a horrific blood sacrifice. Whether or not we should enjoy the creation gets caught up in this tension. More specifically, sex gets caught up in the tension. If the world is basically bad, so is sex, and sex can be redeemed only through marriage and procreation. Any other expressions are evil. On the other hand, if the world is basically good, sex also is basically good. It can be enjoyed by those who marry and by those who cannot marry. Sex can assuredly still be misused. Sex used for power or exploitation has no place in a good creation. Which of the two stories speaks to the spiritual needs of gay and lesbian folk? One more example. Does God have a sense of humor, or is God 100% serious? I can speak to this from my own experience of what some people call jokes of the Holy Spirit. For years I had a strong aversion to discussing money, a necessary but uncomfortable topic, at my church. Despite this, I ended up being the church treasurer. Which version of God will be a comfort to gays and lesbians? We are people who survive living with their fellow humans, thanks in good measure to a fine sense of irony. A sense of humour could just be one of God's gifts to us. One could have a much longer discussion of these three sets of alternatives, and there are others. Is there something here of spiritual comfort for gay and lesbian people? I believe there is, and that it's profoundly friendly for gays and lesbians. I should add, by way of conclusion, that none of what I've just said applies only to gays and lesbians. Many others experience exclusion and condemnation from those who preach the humorless, fault-finding, inflexible God of law. Positive ideas of God are part of our spiritual heritage and can be considered along with the negative ideas. Those who can do this discover that salvation can be right now in a life of spiritual comfort and challenge. Gay and lesbian folk have the advantage of a very clear perspective on the alternative strands of Christianity. I'm Chris Eastoe, and this has been my commentary.